Hello YouTube. This is BalorMage again, and I thought I would share with you my next horrible league start plan, which is what I'm going to be doing, and what I do not suggest other people do, is a Lightning Arrow Deadeye, hopefully going Magic Find literally on day one. So you can see the character in the background. This is one of my real actual test runs. This is my test character in very cheap gear, all the MF stuff, but bad versions of it, cheap versions of it, mid-leveled gems, a 6-link bow that's essence crafted, that isn't very good, no additional arrows, a 2C quiver. We'll jump into the gear in a minute, but basically this is a real actual test run that I did. And this is in tier 13 maps on day one in mostly MF gear. So I plan on running tiers 9 to 12 on day one and just blasting and MFing. That's my current plan. And this build should be able to handle it. No inspireds, no headhunters, full MF gear, no omni, no anything. Now, I'm not suggesting this build as a league start to anybody. I am absolutely not telling you to copy what I'm trying to do. This is risky. If you're after the builds I suggest people do, I'm doing a bit of research on that. We'll have a video coming out very soon. I'm going to cover like all of the best builds that I think will work for league start and who covered them the best, whose builds I like the most. I'm going to point at a bunch of other content creators who have done more work than I've done. And I'm just going to be like, this is the correct build that I like for this style. This is the right trapper build. This is the right EA ballistas and anything else that I can find, and just put them all into the one video and be like, these are the ones that I like. These are the ones you should try from. This is not it. But jumping in game. Okay. So this is the character that you just saw. Ignore what's in its inventory because we weren't using the headhunter and we weren't using an inspired. Those are there just because I was testing things and I wanted to see how they work. So this is the current set of gear. What's important to look at right here is this gives practically no damage. This gives no damage. These give no damage. These give no damage. They both have relatively low life rolls. I also do not need the resistances that are on them. I'm like 100 and something overcap on res. So the fact that these are like good venters, which like they are, there's a lot of res on them, but I literally have like 100 too much res, so they can be absolutely trash. This is only a 5-link, although it will be expensive on day one. Literally just stats on my amulet and 1 resistance roll and a very cheap anoint. This is actually one of the cheapest anoints that you can get that's actually worth getting on day one. Super cheap anoint, not the right one. Very cheap quiver. Asenath might cost a little bit, but not much. And then this bow, which doesn't even have attack speed on it. It was just essence crafted with essences that I found in solo self-found before I merged. I brought them over in my inventory, and then I ended up buying an Imperial bow base because it's the card base and I expect to be able to get one of them on day one. The idea of this is that I'm just going to start magic finding, and I'm going to hope that what I can do is sell a bunch of the uniques in the first few days that are pretty expensive early on, that lose their value rather quickly. But if I'm doing full MF on day one, my hope, my plan is that just maybe I can make myself a headhunter or a mage blood in just a few days doing that. So I did put together a path of building in case anyone wants to follow my horrific plan that isn't tested at all. This is the character. It only has 3.5 mil DPS total. And that's after it does take you like 2.5 to 3 seconds to ramp up your DPS from the Storm Rain totem, which is where most of our damage comes from. The Lightning Arrow is only about 300k, which is more than enough. There's more than enough for all the clearing. You just saw it. It was going fine. It does have Fork, Mirage Archer, and GMP in. So we're going real good on the like utility front for that, which means I can drop one of those supports for a bit more damage if I need it. We do get to run Defiance, Banner, Determination, and Purity of Elements, which is what I expect to be running on day one. just to get me my ailment immune and a little bit of defenses, because I have none otherwise at all. In fact, I only have 2.8k life. This is not a good league start. Someone convinced me not to do this. Anyway, I made some leveling trees. I've been practicing this for about a week. I have a double inspired setup, a single inspired crit setup, and then I have like some leveling plans the whole way through. How it's going to look on Act 1, how it's going to look in Act 2, not Act 2, how it's going to look in normal lab, then how it's going to look at the start of Act 6, and then Cruel Lab, Merc Lab, and Uber Lab, which is our last non-crit stage. The TLDR for leveling this is that I am going to put the lightning arrow on the totems at level 12. Before that, we're just leveling with shrapnel and shrapnel in both. I'm just going to have shrapnel on my totem and shrapnel self-cast. And then at level 12, my totems will change into lightning arrow. And then at Cruel Lab, when I get the +1 chain, I will take that lightning arrow and I will start using it myself to attack. And then my totems will become Storm Rain totems, because that's about when I start to need like proper DPS as well. Like I start needing some DPS around then, and Storm Rain totems is where most of our DPS is. So this is it. I intentionally did not make this into like a good guide, right? This is intentionally not made into a good guide. The reason for that is I really am not suggesting that other people do it. People who have been around my channel for a while will know by now. I am notorious at giving you good advice and then absolutely not following it and doing some weird experimental thing on League Start that isn't a great plan and somehow getting away with it, usually by re-rolling on like day 3. Do not do what I do, but this is what I'm doing, and I just thought I'd share it with everyone. We'll have a real video on what I think you should do probably tomorrow. Yeah. Here's my bad idea for this league, and I will see everybody next time.